Okay, welcome back to my channel, you guys. Social Live Vlogs. I wanted to talk about something a little more serious today. We like to keep our videos usually informal, informational, kind of fun, but also, giving you some facts and just be able to see, the world through our eyes and what we do, because maybe you might be able to yourself, or maybe you have been there and you've had a different experience and can compare. So that's usually our goal. But today I want to talk about something a little more serious. Right now I'm currently stuck in the middle of the ocean at the southernmost point of the world, and I am on a cruise ship. And what I'm talking about today is the coronavirus pandemic that has struck our entire world. I'm sure all of us are feeling it in some way, one way or the other. It has affected us and our living situation, our daily life. So what I'm going to talk about today in today's vlog is how the coronavirus pandemic has affected us personally, me personally, here on this ship, what it's like to be quarantined on a ship in the middle of the ocean, in the middle of nowhere, not knowing what's going to happen. There's a lot of uncertainties, as most of us have in general, but we have a couple extra uncertainties here, which I'm going to talk to you about today. And I'll start with basically just giving you the rundown, the story of how we got here, what were our plans, why we're here, what kind of situation we're in now, and what feelings are going along with that. We started this trip on a cruise. Basically, we left Fort Lauderdale. We took an 18-day cruise, stopping along the way from Fort Lauderdale, the Caribbean, and different places in South America like Brazil and Uruguay, until we reached our final destination, which was Buenos Aires, Argentina. Buenos Aires is the capital of Argentina. Great place. We finished our 18-day trip there on the cruise. Then we bought a car. It took us about 2 months. I apologize. Felt like 4 months, okay? So actually that was correct, but no, it took us 2 months to buy a car. Felt like 4 months, maybe even 6, but that was a whole nother issue in its own. There's a lot of bureaucracy in Argentina, and it was very difficult to buy a car. I can't buy a car. If you're not from Argentina, you're not a resident or a citizen of Argentina, first of all, you cannot buy a car there. So that's just a little information if you guys are thinking about doing something like we did or doing a trip. I'm all for it, but don't plan on doing what we did unless you have a connection in Argentina. Christian is from Argentina, so because he is a citizen, so we were able to buy a car that way in Argentina. I know a lot of people want to know about how did we even buy a car there. It's not easy. It's very complicated. And imagine even him being a citizen, it took us 2 months to get a car. I wasn't even included in it at all, but he bought a car. We decided to start on this amazing journey. We drove all the way up to Iguazu Falls, which connects with Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay. There's a triple border there. It's beautiful nature wonder, and it was amazing. Had a great time there. Their waterfalls, they're amazing. You should look them up, check it out. Definitely recommend going there if you can. If we can travel hopefully again in the future, which I believe we will, but who knows when that will be. So we did that, and then we basically made our way down to Buenos Aires again, and we drove along the whole coast, east coast of Argentina, until we reached Ushuaia. Ushuaia was one of my favorite places. Loved it. Was really looking forward to that spot. After Ushuaia, we decided to book a cruise. Actually, we booked this cruise when we were in Cordoba. So we were waiting 2 months to get the car, and it was taking a long time, and we got this opportunity. Since I'm a travel agent, the opportunity arose that we could take a cruise to Antarctica. That's my 7th continent, my last continent. I've been to every continent in the world except Antarctica. I'm a Florida girl, as you guys know. I hate the cold. At first, I was like, about a year ago, if you'd have asked me if I was going to go to Antarctica or where I wanted to travel to, because I travel a lot. A lot of people ask me. I said, I want to go everywhere in the world that I can that's warm, but not everywhere, actually, because there's some places I wouldn't go. But most places I'm okay with. I said, but I'm not excited to go to Antarctica, like not on my list, because it's so cold. But I'm really happy that I decided to do this trip on the last minute, because wow, it blew my mind. Antarctica was amazing. There's no words to describe it. We did vlogs, which you can watch on our channel. We recorded pretty much everything that we did, we took our camera along with us. So that's pretty cool. You can check out Antarctica on our trip, and from our point of view, kind of like you were a passenger on the ship as well. Like, we're bringing you along with you. That's the whole point of our vlogs. So we really loved Antarctica. Really happy I did that trip. It was a last minute thing we decided to do when we were sitting around in Cordoba waiting for a car. So we finally get to Ushuaia, and then we need to make our way across the border to Chile, to Punta Arenas. That's where our cruise ship is leaving out of. We did an 18-day cruise. Also, it was 16 days technically, but 18 days total with arriving to the ship and disembarking as well. So let's say 16-day cruise. We spent 8 days down in Antarctica, and then we went 3 days in the Falkland Islands. It was amazing. We get back on March the 16th to Punta Arenas, Chile. Now, remember, we drove, so we have a car parked in a parking lot, basically an open parking lot, grass area with a fence around it, and a guy that collects your money, per hour. We made a deal with him before we left to leave our car there. We pay per day for the 16 days. So we arrived back in Punta Arenas on March 16th, and we find out that they have closed the borders of Chile. I guess there was other cruise ships that were using different ports on the entire coast, the west coast that connects to the ocean of Chile, the Pacific Ocean. So one guy on there had the coronavirus and nobody knew about it, and he went into all these different towns, at least 2 towns I know for sure, in Chile, and infected people in Chile. And the Chilean people were very upset with this, had an uprising. When we got back and we were supposed to disembark that day, they told us, they made an announcement, they called everybody on the ship came to talk to the pilot or the captain of the ship. He had called a meeting before we could disembark that we were not going to get off of the ship because the Chilean authorities, the government, closed all the borders. There was rioting by the Chilean people, and it was not safe even for us to get off. Not only were the border closed in Chile, but it's not safe for us to get off the boat because there's riots in the street. And this is all of Chile, it's infected everywhere with the coronavirus. The people are mad because the government allowed, these ships to come, and people had the virus and infected Chilean people. So now the virus has made it to Chile. So there was no way getting out of it. We tried our best. We worked every angle. They were not budging. There was just way too much going on in Chile, and we were not allowed to get off the ship. So we waited around in the port of Punta Arenas for about 3 days without knowing what we were doing. They did tell us that they were going to try to see if we could go to the Falkland Islands, which we just came from, because their borders were still open. They hadn't shut borders down, and we were going to try to see if we could go there, disembark there, and most of the guests, there's just under 400 guests here, have flights home. So they were all going to go home, but they were going to try and get charter flights from Falkland Islands to take everybody home. The ship was going to arrange that. Things are a little different for us. We're a very unique case. Most people do fly here. Most people from here are from North America, Canada, the US, Europe. So they're from Germany, Norway, France. I know there's one guy from Spain. So there was a couple of different Europeans. There's definitely some people from the UK, England. And then we had about 100 Australian doctors and dentists. They actually were holding a conference here on the ship. So everywhere these people are from on the ship are very far away, and they were planning to leave Punta Arenas when they disembarked and take a flight home. So the new schedule was for everybody on the ship to go to the Falkland Islands. Stanley is the capital there, and they were going to use their government airport. They have a government airport, military airport. They were going to use that military airport to book us charter flights and basically send everybody home. Well, you can see maybe where the problem lies here for us is we just bought a car, and our car is in Punta Arenas, Chile. We have no idea when the borders are going to open again in the world, in Chile, in Punta Arenas. We have no idea when we could get back to our car. We don't know when the coronavirus is going to be cured, or there's going to be the pandemic is going to end. We don't know anything of when this is going to stop. So we basically have been going through a lot of stress. We're still in that. There's a lot of unknown. It's been a week since we found out that we were not allowed to disembark when we were supposed to in Punta Arenas, Chile. So since then, we spent 3 days sitting in the port of Punta Arenas, Chile, kind of waiting to see what was going to happen from the Falkland Islands to see if they would let us. We had asked for special permission, and we finally found out that they said, yes, you can come. But there's also a lot of other boats. There's currently 30 boats in the world, I guess, or ships, cruise ships, that are stuck, that cannot get into the port they were supposed to. So we are one of them. So we find out there's a lot of other cruise ships circling around trying to get into Stanley because the Falkland Islands is one of the countries still open. Also, the Falkland Islands, I'm not if you're familiar with this, but they are part of Britain or the UK. So they are, governed by the UK. So we had to get contact with the UK government, the Falkland government. There's a lot of different, lines you have to go down. But we find out that we can go. So we end up going, but they say you're going to have to wait a week on your ship before you can even get off of the boat. So right now it is the 23rd of March. We, in the past few days, after the first 3 days finding out we couldn't get into Punta Arenas, Chile, and we sat for 3 days waiting to hear from Stanley, they told us we could go. So we spent a very, very slow time going around the tip of South America. We weren't allowed to go through past Ushuaia, which we originally did, because Argentina border is also closed. So we had to get special permission. Argentina said, no, we can't go through Argentina, through their waters. We couldn't go through the Chilean waters. Everything is closed. So we had to go out and around through the Drake Passage. If you're familiar with the Drake Passage, that's that area between the most southern tip of South America and Antarctica. And it's called the Drake Shake for a reason, because it is very, very strong winds, strong seas, very high waves, and the boat was basically going like this. Everybody was feeling sick. A lot of people were seasick for the past 3 days. Basically, we were going through that. So we were stranded in the Drake Passage, so to say, going very slowly because of the huge waves. The ship couldn't go very fast. And then on top of it, we didn't even know when we were gonna, if this was even for sure, if we could go for Stanley. They were saying, yes, you can come, but anything can change at this moment. Things are changing by the second right now with the coronavirus. So we made our way slowly. We finally arrived yesterday in the Falkland Islands, and now we're kind of just circling around the Falkland Islands. We still have another day today and tomorrow. And then on the 25th, they said that the latest announcement is that we can get off on the 25th. They've confirmed it, the Falkland Islands in Stanley. We can disembark, but then we need to have, under specific circumstances, we need to have our flights, charter flights, already booked from Stanley to another place, wherever we're going. So now they are trying to talk with Brazil, Sao Paulo, to see if we can fly there in order to change our flights and be able to go home to our home country. So they're trying to send me to the US. They're trying to send Christian to Argentina because we have different passports. And this creates another problem. So you can see how we're in like 3 different ways. I'm here on the ship with Christian. I have a U.S. passport. He has an Argentina passport. They want him to go to Argentina, me to go to the U.S. Our car's in Chile. We're like all over the place. Me and Christian don't want to separate. We ideally just want to get back to our car in Chile. But I understand it's government. It's, the borders are closed. I get it. Even though we're all healthy on this ship, I do understand. But it's frustrating, nonetheless. So we're trying to figure out how me and Christian can stay together, how we can get back to our car. That's our property. We just bought it. It's brand new. There's a lot of frustrations here and a lot of unknowns. So we know that we're supposed to get off in Stanley on the 25th, but they still haven't confirmed that Sao Paulo is going to let us fly there and use the airport. We know we can't go into Brazil because their borders are also closed, which we would like to, but again, it's the situation. So we're still waiting to see if that in fact is going to happen. They said there's going to be an announcement at 5 p.m. today. It's around noon right now. So we're kind of this is how it's been every day, just waiting second by second, minute by minute for an announcement, for them to say something. And they haven't wanted to tell us anything either, which I understand, until they're completely sure it's happening and the plans have been confirmed, which I totally understand. But it hasn't been any easier on us. We're every day just waiting to see what's going to happen next. That's what's happening right now, and I will give you an update later at 5 p.m. as soon as we find out what is the next step in all of this craziness. Okay, good morning, guys. I told you last time that I'd be back with an update for you, and basically what ended up happening is they booked us all charter flights to Santiago, Chile. So we're going back to Chile, and that's what's happening. We're packed, we're ready to go right now. We are gonna take a bus that they've arranged for us, and we are gonna take our charter flight to Santiago. So I'll check in with you guys when we get there. So we are waiting for our flight from Santiago to Miami, and we decided to stop and get some sangria with our masks. We've been wearing this the whole time because that's just the thing to do right now. We were just talking about it. We have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of questions that I don't even know who to ask. So a lot of unknown answers. Curious, how are you guys feeling? Comment on this video and let us know what's going on in your town, your city, your home, your situation. If you're traveling, what is going on with you guys in this scary and unsure time? I want to know.